Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. And as you can see, today's match preview is a bit different. We're doing it, through the live thing. I can talk to you. I will be up obviously afterwards to watch back and listen to. If you've not managed to catch it live, it's basically just the same as always, except that the quality has been brought down a little bit. But I get to talk to you guys. You guys get to get your input in the game. The reason that I'm going live for it today rather than just a normal video is simply down to time restraints. I don't have the time to sit down and make all the videos and edit all the videos, and I just don't have the time today. Plus, I'm a bit hungover, so you've got to treat yourself sometimes and take the easy route. If this is what is considered the easy route. Anyway, I'm here and we're going to talk about it. You guys get your stuff in, your thoughts in, your predictions in, all through the chat. I'll pull up some of the best ones on screen as we move on. But Celtic heading up to McDermott Park tomorrow, a place where we've found a lot of success recently. I think we've won, we've not lost anyway, and I think the last 10 or 11 trips to McDermott Park, we've done fantastic last season. I remember a couple of trips going up there myself, and one of the performances was absolutely tremendous. Inside the first sort of 15-20 minutes, we were up 3-0, and with the way we opened that game, you would have been thinking at the time we could go on to win about 10-0. It's been an easy place for us of times this season. We went there 1-2-0, we left it very late. But of course, the Celtic of this season is a completely different team, to say the least. It's not the Celtic that we're used to seeing. And St Johnstone, they have been rather good of recent. I think they've lost only one of their last 6 games. They're obviously heading towards the Betfred Cup final too. Callum Davison, a man who I think a lot of us stouted at the beginning of his tenure after Tommy Wright left, well, I was certainly one of the ones guilty of doubting what he would do, has really shown how he's got this team playing, how good a manager he is, how a coach he is. I think that's one thing that he's really specialised in is the coaching aspect of it. I think he is quite hands-on, and you can see that in his team. So let's talk about the game tomorrow anyway. As we head there for the 12 o'clock kickoff, like freezing, I'd imagine. Once the game end up getting called off or something, I doubt that Sky won't let that happen. They'll make sure that the groundsmen are taken care out there. But let me know what you're thinking, of course. Right, so Celtic have the chance to win 4 games on the bounce. Never thought you'd say that this season. Never thought you'd hear it. Never thought you'd say it. It sounds like a ridiculous piece of information, to be quite honest. The fact that's, and it's weird to think that we have got to that point. 1-4 in the bounce was pretty standard for Celtic, and now this season has become such a feat. The fact that's became a conversation, it's crazy, it's mad, and it just kind of shows you the point that we're at as a club now, and how desperate we are for change. This should never be a conversation, I think, amongst us, especially with the last decade's been like. But nonetheless, we've got a chance to go 1-4 in the bounce, a chance to carry on some good momentum off the back of what some would call an impressive St Mirren victory, a 4-0 victory. I think it was one of the most lacklustre 4-0s you'll ever see, capitalised in a few minutes, and we've addressed it all. We've addressed the fact that I was maybe overly negative. I don't believe I was. I think there was still a lot to be seen in that performance to convince me that we're heading in the right direction. But we've got to carry on from it and take those positives. We need players like Edouard to continue scoring. He's in a nice wee run of form just now. Turnbull has to keep playing well. The good news is Stephen Welsh, from the 3 things we learned, obviously one of the aspects we spoke about, and that was the fact that Stephen Welsh could have been out for a long time, was stretchered off the park. It looked bad, it looked poor. But the reality is that he's fine now, and that's really good. I don't think fine's maybe the word, but it's certainly not as bad as what we expected, which is a piece of good news for a change in what is a season of bad news. We've got a lot of things to pick up on, and that's the problem with Celtic this season. We haven't been able to carry on with these sort of positives that we've seen at points of the season. There's been moments where players have shown a bit of promise, a bit of potential, a bit of quality. There's been flashes of excitement, and then we just don't continue it. And I hope that doesn't start to disappear now. I hope we've not had a run of excitement or a run of form disappears. One of the key examples I'll compare it to was probably when you got Tom Rogic coming back into the team in November. He came into the team, or October, November time. He came into the team, they had like 2-3 great games, and I remember sitting in the channel saying, this could be a real big turning point for our season. Tom Rogic can maybe help us try and catch up with Rangers and all the rest of it. And then like after 3 or 4 games, it was, we've seen nothing from Tom Rogic. So, we need to continue on these positives. We need to build on them. As for the game tomorrow, in terms of performance, I expect it to be the same sort of football we've seen from Celtic. I don't expect much to change. I think that, the plan is now simple, is to go out and we'll play this 4-1-2-1-2, and we'll try and create chances with these passes. It's weird because we're in a situation as well. We fluctuate who's playing as a number 10 and then who's in behind. Because Turnbull is played as a number 10, Rogic has played as a number 10. He's probably going to give Christie a chance of playing the number 10 at some point. It is weird. It's a weird one, but we'll go with the same style of football. I think the 4-1-2-1-2. We'll try our best to just play the exact same way, and we'll try and break down teams, and we'll probably fail to break down teams. That's how it seems to be going for Celtic. It's pretty standard for us. I think St Johnstone will fancy their chances. The thing is, and the main positive for me, and probably that I'm going to go into this game a little more positive than I've went into the past games that we've had. So St Mirren, Kilmarnock, purely because I think St Johnstone have their eyes set on that Betfred Cup final in the coming weeks. I think they'll be focused on that. I think they'll be trying to keep players fit for that game. They'll want their best side. Callum Davidson and St Johnstone as a football club will be desperate to bring home silverware. And they know it's not going to be an easy task against Livingston. I know that's now them lost back-to-back games, but it doesn't mean anything. Livingston's still a solid outfit. David Martindale still did a good job. So I think that the Callum Davidson such will be focused on that, and that could come in to help Celtic. I think that we'll see those glimpses of, I don't want to say nervousness, but I don't think that Callum Davidson will field his best 11. I think he will. I think he'll rest a couple of players, and if not, he'll take them off during the game, just to make sure that they don't go out and get injured. And also, I think you'll see that in the players. I think it'll reflect in the best players who play the game. I think that there will be that sense of, let's not try too hard here in case we end up buggering ourselves. There is that sort of aspect. They've got bigger fish to fry ultimately. And I don't think St Johnstone will. I think St Johnstone understand that they beating Celtic, although it's been kind of easier to do this season. We've seen so many teams beat us. I think that they'll understand that it's not a game that they should go out expecting to win. So I think it'll benefit Celtic in the sense that that cup final is coming up shortly. But I expect it to be much more of the same from Celtic in terms of performance and analysing performance. It has been difficult to do for Celtic. I don't think that analysing the game or expecting certain points in the game, and from a technical point of view, it's easy to do now. I think that Celtic are at a point where it's just, I said it the other day, as every 10 minutes went by, every 10 minutes was the same and we seen nothing. It was boring. And that's what I was getting criticised for being so negative when it was boring. I expect to see that from Celtic. I don't think we'll run away with it. I think it'll be a narrowly won game. And if we were to go out and win about 4-0, then, I don't think it'll be emphatic. But that's my thoughts. In terms of the 11, we'll get to the last kind of part. Then I'll come on to reading your comments in the chat. In terms of the starting 11 predictions and the score predictions, I think I want Barkas to get back in. I've seen a few people saying it in the chat just now, but I really want Barkas back in the team. I know Bain is just off the back of keeping the clean sheet, and you could defend him for that, but I don't want him in the team. I want Barkas back in goals. Not going to happen, though. I think Bain will keep his place. I think we'll see Shane Duffy come in for Stephen Welsh, sadly, this weekend. I don't know what the timescale is with Welsh if he is ready to come back, but I don't suspect he'll be thrown back into the team so soon. Even if he was okay, I think that they'll probably put Duffy out there just in case. And, St Johnstone will try to capitalise on that. I'll tell you that for nothing. Apart from that, the rest of the back line the same. John Joe Kenny, Ayer, and Greg Taylor. Brown will probably start again. I don't think he should. I think it's ridiculous that we're now dropping Ismail Assoro. I think that's one thing I've not even touched on this. I don't understand it. Why is Brown back in the team and why is Sorrow out? Brown's, I just don't understand. My dad was impressed with Brown's performance the other night, and I think to an extent, if you look past the kind of the green tinted specs for Sorrow, then you could probably say he had an alright game, but he shouldn't be in that team at the minute. He shouldn't be. It should be Sorrow. I think it would Brown though. I think Christie will perhaps get a start now after how well he played when he came off the bench. So I think it'll be Christie, Turnbull, and there, and then alongside who is it plays in there again? Who plays? I'm forgetting completely who it is. I have my notes down on the. I have my notes down beside me. This is a ring when you go live. Sometimes like McGregor, that's it. Just forgot. Cal McGregor completely slipped my head. I don't know how that happened. I think it'll be McGregor along with Turnbull and Christie. And then hopefully Turnbull playing that number 10 and a Yeti and Edouard up front. And hopefully, as I said, Edouard continues on that form. And as for the score predictions, I would suggest that Celtic are going to go and win the game. And I'm going to say 2-1. I don't think it'll be anything extraordinary. But I feel like we should be winning the game and will win the game at the end of the day. If we don't win the game, then it's back to the basics and back to the drawing board. Right, we'll have about 5 or 10 minutes of reading comments. Let me know what you think in the chat, the Celtic fans, or Rangers fans, whoever's here, just let me know what you think. David Hunter, first up, he says a one-legged Welsh could do a better shift than Shane Duffy. And see, to be honest, I do not disagree. As I said, I think St Johnstone should and will look to capitalise on how poor Shane Duffy is tomorrow. Free Sorrow from Burnsy Boy. Yep, I don't understand. I've got Boy67. He's saying 3-1 to Celtic. So there's the first prediction thrown in. Brown's been decent since he came back, but Sorrow deserves to still be in the team, says Keane Burns. Yep, I would say so. I think when Brown came when he first came back in against Kilmarnock, me and Ryan McGinley had this kind of conversation that he was playing for a contract. You know, that's the only reason we're seeing a decent performance out of him. Well, I don't. Okay, Blake Rice, there should be a ban outside Duffy as a Shane Louise. Why do you want a Yeti over Griffiths? He was doing really well. Look, I have said time and time again, I've said it on this channel, I think Lee Griffiths is one of the best strikers in this country. When he's at his best, when he's at a level of fitness, and when he's playing, he's a great player. But he keeps doing silly things and he keeps throwing away the chances. I just don't know. He's not fit enough. A Yeti is a player who, I'm telling you, if with a new manager, will be great. I just know it. I'm psychic or something. I just know it. No, I have faith in a Yeti. I think Griffiths has had his time now. He's just not fit enough for this level anymore, I don't think, for what we need. And I feel like there is this kind of blind faith in him, this allegiance that we have to him as fans, and it's wearing out. It's worn out of me for a long time, but and I'm talking years. But you know, he wins me over at times, and I love to see him do well, and I love to see him score, and I'd love for him to keep proving me wrong when he can. But he's just not doing it enough, to be honest. Barkas is extremely over-criticised and is better than Bain and Hazard, and the same as a Yeti. I would agree completely with that statement. Should we sign John Joe Kenny? Still a bit of time, I would say. Connor Mullen asking, should we sign John Joe Kenny? I think there's still a bit of time to try and assess that. From what I've seen so far, I've got very dry lips, haven't I? From what I've seen so far, I would say yes. I think he's done enough to suggest that he will be a worthwhile signing, but you know, it's once again one of those ones. He's not done anything extraordinary. We don't know the fee. There's still a long time to go before we even think about signing John Joe Kenny. Stuart Miller, the most important thing, I just want 3 points, and that's all. I suppose at this point it is about getting 3 points, but they need to give us something to be excited about. We need faith in this team. The performances for me haven't been good enough, and I do understand that the 3 points is the most important thing, but at the minute we really need better performances. James A. Graham says Celtic are praying for things to change too quick. Ain't gonna happen. I don't. The bad run will happen again. Having Duffy playing, I wouldn't be surprised though. I wouldn't be surprised if it did start a game with Duffy in the poor form. So I will wait and see. Kenny reminds me of Adam Matthews. Fair play. Adam Matthews was a player, to be fair. And now I'll about do it. Since it's going up, I don't want to make it too long. But thank you for getting your thoughts and thank you for being here with me for the match preview tomorrow. I'm looking forward to the game. And of course, we'll have the 3 things we've learned up. I will be streaming tonight. Just to clarify, we'll be on Twitch. We're playing Football Manager. Don't know if we'll be with David or not, but we'll see. Just make sure to head over to my Twitch and I'll see you all there. Ladies and gents, thanks for joining me. And I'll see you all